All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to debate the news. And what we've been speaking about uh, is Brian. Brian's back right away. I love Brian. Is we there? So we've been speaking about Iran, okay, and what's going on in Iran. So Brian and Tyson, you guys can bring people back up.
Oh, what?
Yeah, let's bring people back up. And guys, once again, Afshin is there
Oh,
as well. Afshin's over here. I guess he came over here to curse you out,
maybe
Brian,
she
in
gone.
person.
That's
So
totally
That's
fine.
right.
Afshin
Hey,
is
let me down
there.
my jeans.
Guys, so the mic's back open. Brian, are you there, Brian?
I'm here.
Boy,
Yeah.
yeah, boy, and then
Yeah, Afshin,
Brown.
meet Brian. Brian, meet
Yeah,
Afshin.
everything's smooth.
Yo, who's that speaking? Can y'all find out who that is that's
Yeah.
speaking right now?
It's on
We
chatter.
have too many moderators on on Chatter to allow stuff like that
Huh?
to happen. Okay, that's coming definitely coming from Chatter. All right, we have too many moderators on Chatter for that to be happening. All
That's
right, so
the God. Let me.
all right, can someone mute the God?
You're good. You're
All right, let's go, guys. We're back. All right, Brian, the floor is yours. Afshin, me, Brian, Brian, me, Afshin.
I think we're on the same page now. I mean, we've kind of talked through
Yeah.
things. I've expressed my opinion around how I would have preferred this to have happened. Afshin has expressed his opinion on how he would have preferred this to have happened. In the end, my concern is just I want to make sure that the risk to the country breaking apart or being in an even worse situation is minimized, right? But we're going to find out. The events are already playing themselves out. So if it turns out that the people of Iran can actually come together and drive the rest of the regime out and bring about democratic change, I'm happy because it means I get to go back to a country I haven't been to in 20 years, right? I just want to make sure that we don't have an even worse situation than we have now. And the situation with IRGC is bad, so it's pretty hard to do worse. But you never know.
There is one way to do worse, and that's the Mujahideen coming in. They have their own army, and they're even worse than that.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of my concern. Then it's like if there's a massive power vacuum, and that power vacuum is instituted or is caused by an agent from outside the country, is there a risk that a group like MEK can end up doing a lot more damage in that environment rather than? Well, you get it. I've made the point plenty of times. I'm not going to beat this horse to death. Well, Afshin, you're here. Pick a room. Doesn't really matter which side of the fence you want to talk on. Are we good? You down to break some
Yeah,
bread? I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what part of
No,
the
no,
country or
no.
the world you're in,
No,
but
that's okay, Brian. I understand what you're saying. I'm in the United States actually. I'm in Florida, so we're in the same country. So, but
sweet.
yeah. I think now I know you because we have some room together in Clubhouse and like Persian rooms when the Massa Amini's death happened 3 years
Yeah,
ago. So we had some room together. We share some stage together. So I know who you are now. So let's go.
sweet. That's dope. Jonathan, the floor is yours, man. I think we've beat this one to death.
And they lived
Absolutely,
happily ever
guys.
after.
Yeah,
Jonathan.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
am.
Soju. Soju, put your
Yes,
position out there. What's your position, Soju? Go
I
ahead.
I have a question for all the my Persian brothers in the room. Now that the emotions have coming down a little bit and there is room for reasoning, IRGC has been weakened, but they are not uh, destroyed, and we have cause for Iranians to come up and take back their country against the backdrop of different Iranian factions. Do you guys see a possibility of plunging the country into a civil war? And what do you think will be the consequences of that? I land.
I want positive take on this. Positive, you there?
Positive. You have a take on this positive? Brian, positive, not available. But let me ask some, Brian, before you go. I want you to add, I want you to add to this. Do you think Israel did Iran a favor? Because I'm on the I'm like the Iranian people, excuse me, the Iranian people a favor, not Iran, the Iranian people a favor. Because I'm under, I say yes, but I want to see what your answer is to that.
Well, so I said earlier that my hunch is that Bibi gave the go ahead for this for personal reasons. Now, that being said, that's one person, right? It takes a whole lot of people to do effective military planning. And let's be perfectly clear, this was an effective attack, right? It's very clear that Israel, first of all, two different countries, I'm just going to touch on this point, two different countries have innovated in a tight spot with drone warfare, which, by the way, is maybe the scariest new development that we've seen. Right, Ukraine and Israel have both essentially done the same type of attack within weeks of each other. That should scare a lot of big countries, especially including us, unfortunately, here in the U.S. But I'll move away from that.
So wait, hold on. You're saying drone technology and drone warfare is scary as hell. That's what you're saying, right? It could take down a big country, correct?
100%. If the big country hasn't hardened their stuff, like I'm, listen. If you fly to Hawaii, right? As you're landing in Honolulu, you're going to see a whole bunch of unprotected planes, right? Planes that have no shielding from a rogue drone, and that's just one example, right? It wouldn't surprise me if there are countries, adversarial countries to the U.S., looking at what Ukraine has done, looking at what Israel has done, and saying, hey, we could just as easily do that in countries like the US. Wouldn't surprise me if the US is researching the same thing in other countries like China. Everybody's looking at this right now. But I want to set that aside for a
Brian,
moment.
look, I
Yeah.
agree with you 100%. Nelson Apeg and I had a big argument. I don't know how many people were in the room. We had a big argument about this probably 2, 3 weeks ago. And at first he was hard. He couldn't believe it. Then he did this little chat GPT. Then he tried to soften the stance a little bit. But I wanted to get you on record on this recording saying that because
Drone warfare
I know.
is the
So
scariest shit, and I'll tell you this: one of the eeriest things that's come about with drone warfare. How do you make sure? I'm so sorry, I took this conversation completely sideways. How do you make sure
no
that your
problem.
drones are effective and can attack the target you want them to attack? Well, you can't talk to your drones using radio frequencies because those can be jams. How do you do it? You use fiber optic lines. And all of the drones that you're seeing in Ukraine right now are using fiber optic lines. The drones are spooling out fiber optics in order to actually communicate with the handler who's, like 10, 20 miles away, however long, right? There are over no man's land, right? There are just webs of fiber optic lines blanketing empty stretches of no man's land, right? It's the eeriest thing watching what future battlefields are turning into, and it's something that nobody really envisioned. And that's just one aspect of it. Now, bear in mind, all it takes is for somebody with a small drone packed with next generation explosive and next generation, whatever, to just find a little hole in some netting and do immense damage to old school, massively expensive technology, fifth, sixth gen fighters, even, right? All it takes is for one small drone to mess that stuff up. We saw it with Ukraine. We saw Israel just do it here, over in Iran. And that gets back to my point. This operation was very well executed. Regardless of my personal opinion that Bibi had a personal stake to continue the war, I think a lot of people reporting up to him and a lot of the military complex within Israel recognize this as an opportunity to possibly enable the Iranian people and help and possibly recreate a new ally in the region because the Shah and Israel were allied before the revolution took place.
Good stuff there. Wow, good stuff. And anyone else, guys? Let's rock out. I mean, it's an open mic, open floor. Israel, Iran, guys. I was going to speak about U.S. aid. Something happened there. some articles I saw, but we can always say that for some other time because you know. Just is a lot happening. We have the parade that we spoke about. We have the immigration where Donald Trump has told immigration not to go ahead and uh, go after farm workers, restaurant workers, and farm, restaurant, and hotels workers. It's crazy because if immigrants are such a threat, existential threat to our nation's security and our economy, why is this when some hotel owners complain? Why now has he decided that we shouldn't go after them? So no, that's some of the things that we spoke about. The USA thing I was going to speak about real fast, guys, is the fact that guess what? Donald Trump, they cut U.S. aid, and right, I used to always speak about George Bush and his legacy and what he did to Africa and how Africa, so many people were dying over in Africa. I don't know if you guys recall that when Africans were dying left and right from the AIDS epidemic, and George W. Bush, he actually set up this program to allow them to get the medicine and to just save millions and millions of lives. Well, those lives are now back at risk because it's being reported that that program pretty much has been stopped, and they're no longer getting the medicine. And I think there was a 9-year-old girl. This priest is trying to find a medicine for this girl. So once again, guys, there's a lot of things happening. So there it is. The mic's open. Got a lot of people on the stage on CH. I see Marcus is up there. Marcus, what are your thoughts about Israel? Do you feel that Israel had to do what they did? Marcus going once. Marcus, are you there,
Oh,
my friend? There you
I
go.
was just trying to figure out. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I was just trying to figure out. I didn't hear that these drones were wired. Is it? Do the fiber optics spool back up when they go
No,
low?
no, the fiber
Is
optics are
everything?
abandoned. The drone hits its target, and then nothing matters anymore. The fiber optics are just laid there.
And then the drones are exploded.
Yeah, because the drones are kamikaze drones. Like once they hit their target, what are you going to do?
Gotcha.
Spool up the fiber optics? The fiber optics are like fucking fibers of glass. Like you can just make it by a dime a dozen. You're not even shielding it or anything, so it doesn't matter.
I didn't realize that. Is that so they can't jam the frequency? Like they
Marcus,
can't? Is that so they can
God.
just control it without being jammed?
Yeah, that's exactly the idea. Because if you're using like if you've got your own spool, basically the drone has its own spool of fiber optic line, and then as it's flying, it unspools the line, which also eliminates the risk of snagging. Because if it ever gets snagged, it just pulls on the spool and just more comes out. So you've got a fixed range based on how much spool you actually have, but it's like 10, 15, 20 miles or however long. So for all intents and purposes, it's perfectly fine for their needs.
Has anyone developed a drone with the big scissors on the front?
You want to patent it? Go for it.
I'm ready to profit.
So what are you guys talking about? I'm trying to figure this out.
Nothing. Marcus is just shooting the shit over the fact that you could apparently just cut the fiber optic lines.
No, I just hadn't heard that it was connected by fiber optics before. I didn't realize they would
Oh, you're going to
actually
enjoy the reading
wire.
material, man. Just go look it up. It's absolutely fascinating. Like you can even I think there's like images of just like the blankets of like fiber optic wire. This is wild.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it.
Sorry, Jonathan.
No, 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 no. Marcus, my question was, how do you feel about Israel? You feel like Israel had to do this?
I mean, the war sucks, and I'm against war generally, except when it has to happen. But I'm also of the opinion that I kind of try my hardest. Not I try my hardest not to completely judge people on the other side of the world. Like I live in a place where I don't know what the bomb sirens in my neighborhood sound like. Like if sirens went off that said I had to go find a bomb shelter, I don't know where the bomb shelter is. And I'm not saying that strictly for Israel, whether it's for Gaza or anywhere else. I have a hard time judging saying they need to live like this or they need to live like that. And both people are worried about keeping their kids alive. Like one side is scared of bombs, the other side is scared of bombs going off while they're riding the bus. Like I get it, but it's not a situation. It's a situation that I can have empathy for, but I don't know how I'm supposed to judge that they're doing the wrong thing in a situation like this because I'm telling you, I know where I live. I want the people who are in control of where I live to make sure me and my family stay alive. So I'm going to say what? They should take the higher road or they should do something else at the cost of my child? Fuck that. So, I mean, how am I supposed to judge someone else to do that? And that's where we run into this kind of.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. 100%. No, guys, listen to me. I just, when you listen to Action and Brian go at it, and they seem like they're arguing, even though they agreed on a lot, just didn't understand that. That's all. Didn't understand that at all. So, guys, welcome to Debate the News. As I said to you before, Debate the News, we're here on Chatter Social. Chatter Social, folks, believe it or not, we are on V2. V2, if you guys are opening up rooms, if you guys are opening up rooms over on CH or over on X or anywhere else, I think you guys will want to reconsider doing so. Chatter Social is integrating, since it's already out there, and also speaking, with Blue Sky. Okay, and he mentioned that a little while ago, and that's over 36 million users. So we'll be fully integrated with them, and so once again, and they are monetizing. They're monetizing. So what does that mean, guys? That means that you guys will be able to fully monetize your rooms, okay, and get paid for doing so. So CH does not offer that. Neither does X. So it's we had one gentleman make over $300, approximately $300 in about hour, hour and a half. Okay, I say a little less than an hour, but the room stayed open, so I said hour, hour and a half. $300 just for that. And guys, yeah, once again, he's gonna do that room anyway. But it was nice for him to see him earn that in that short period of time. So, shout out to Chatter and Chatter Social. Chatter, you no longer need an invitation. Any one of you guys right now that's on CH or X that's listening to us are able to go and actually, believe it or not, download Chatter and come right into Chatter right now without an invitation. Once again, Chatter has video. People are sharing their screens. Guys, once again, we can watch television in Iran right now. If you guys want to test me on that, test me. Give me a channel. I'll bring up Iranian TV and put it up top, and all you guys will be able to see it. So that's the beauty of Chatter Social. I'm able to do that. We're able to put Iranian TV, any TV, from anywhere in the world. People tonight, the UFC fight. People watch that UFC fight tonight. They each one of them. Well, each UFC fight, each prize fight that has happened since Chatter's been open has been reviewed right here on Chatter without cost to people that are doing it. So that is phenomenal, guys. Once again, that's one of the many benefits of being able to coming over here on Chatter. Football during the football season, we've been able to watch all the games together and just do all kinds of things. A lot of fun. They have the sports room where they do those tickets, where they do the sports tickets. Those things right there are very, very, very. I mean, it's very fun to watch them pick their tickets and watch these people hit for big money on those tickets. A lot of things are happening on Chatter. So if you guys haven't joined us, get over here and join us. It's just phenomenal. And a lot of great shows are taking place here as well. Cooking shows where people you actually watch the people cook and prepare their foods and everything else. All that's happening right here on Chatter, as well as shows like Debate the News. So with that being said, folks, we are going to keep this thing moving. Anyone else wants to jump in on anything about Iran, about Trump, about the parade, about my immigrants, whatever it may be?
Jonathan, I like the observation that you made about the discussion between Afshin and the other gentleman and why it didn't make sense to you. If there is anything that he will learn from it, it is a portrayal of the ideological and philosophical differences within Iran and within different factions of Iran, which is why I raised that question of the prospect of a civil war. And if you do notice, none of them took a bite at that question because that is a very real prospect. And even though we are now emotionally charged and driven, it is something that we should worry about. And it is something that is eminent given the current political situations. And I think is going to be very counterproductive and inimical to the interests of Iran. And I rest.
Brother, did you not hear a word of what I said?
Hold on. Ideologically, they are the same in terms of where the IRGC's fate lies. There's no discussion about that. There's no civil war occurring about that. It's just whether about do Bryant and Afshin disagree or agree on how it should be dismantled and toppled.
But
That's what the discussion was
But
about.
to your point, nameless person over on Chatter, um, the risk of a civil war is real. Now, some people may not think that it's real, and that's okay, right? Like we have different perspectives on the risk, right? But the risk is real, right? I think Positive mentioned earlier that the only thing that would be worse than IRGC is MEK. I don't, to be candid, I don't know enough about MEK. I think they're going to be at least as bad, right? They could be worse. The point is, there are a bunch of other parties that are motivated to take advantage of a power vacuum, right? So your point that there's a risk of a civil war, there is, right? I don't know how big that risk is. I just think that risk is bigger if it's an outside party acting on the Iranian government as opposed to the Iranian government being toppled by a unified resistance force.
Brian, I speak with Sir Jude last night. We went back and forth. He asked this question about, I don't know why he's worried about the civil war inside Iran, which means that's not going to happen. And I answer him and I give him so much facts, but he doesn't want to take it. That's his problem. But the problem is that, if we're talking about civil war, actually, at least we have a leader that we picked that's going to go back, and the 85% of Iranian accepting him, But take a look at Syria. Why did this, there's no civil war happen in Syria? They didn't even have a leader to take back the country. Last minute, they had this guy's, what's his name, Khalid, whatever his name is. He came in. He was an Al Qaeda, a leader, and he took his country back. Look at what he's doing to Syria. There's any civil war happen in Syria? No, nothing happened over there. And people's actually chanting and happy in the street, and they're taking the country back from Bashar Assad. So, but he keeps saying that civil war. It's just, it's crazy to me. I don't understand why he's just keep trying to bring this situations, asking questions, all the time. But that's just crazy to me.
Absolutely, I like your nationalistic view about your country. You love your country, you want your country to be well, and I know that you're emotionally charged and driven. But this is a situation where you have to approach with a very sane mind. And all we are saying, we are not being pessimistic. We are just trying to be objective here. And you should be able to do yourself a favor to allow yourself some level of objectivity because you come across largely as, fundamentally driven, and you seems to negate any aspect that does not correspond with your emotional worldview regarding Iran. And I don't think that is a healthy way to approach this situation. You should be able to listen to every side, listen to your people, because your country is at a precipice now. Okay, it is not. What is happening. You have to look at it both with a very lengthy view into the future where it is leading. So you could be able to know a better approach and strategy to do this. The way you come across it, to be quite honest with you, with all due respect, it seems a little bit impulsive and it seems a little bit emotionally charged and it does not correspond with reality principle. But I do support you. I hope Iran, like I told you last year, I want Iran to regain itself so that I will be able to travel there with you and enjoy Iran, the Iran that I used to know, Iran that I have studied, and Iran that I have very positive expectations from. But we are not going to lead that by burying our head in the sand like ostrich and then negate every other possibilities and consequences. I land.
Brother, what
And so,
country is your passport from? I have to know. Like, what
The
is your?
country
Where are
that
you
my
from?
passport is,
Yeah.
I have diplomatic passport.
Then why would you say that you can't go back to Iran? You're perfectly fine.
No, I promised him that I will go back to Iran with him last year when we were talking.
Oh, you mean you've got a
Because
friend
I,
of yours?
I
Okay,
did I
got it,
did some estimate. Yes, I would like
got it.
to go to Iran and visit his people with him. Yes, thank
and
you.
and Sir Jude, I will accept you with my open arm because the other Persians people, they're good people, good-hearted people, just like us, me and Brian, shy and positive right here, you know. And we might be disagree on some part, but we agree on the most of the thing. We want to take our country back and kick IRGC out of Iran. But that civil war, you asked me that question yesterday, and I explained it to you. But it's just, you know, if you don't want to accept my explanation, I'm sorry, you know, this is what I say. This is what I know my country is how it's gonna happen. So, and you can ask Brian and you can ask Cheyenne too, but you know, maybe they say different things. But you know, it's just this is between us, you know, as a Persian, you know, we know what's gonna happen to our countries because we know kinda what's gonna happen to our country because we know the culture, we know the politics over there. The politics in Iran, in the Middle East, is completely different than the other countries, you know, and we cannot like you know I'm not going to say that you'd said this, but we cannot compare Iran to other countries' leaders. You know, we cannot compare Iran politics to other countries like, let's say, Saudi Arabia. Let's say, you know, UAE. It's all the countries in Persian Gulf. You know, it's totally different. But this is my explanation. I'm sorry that you don't want to accept it. So that's it. But I will accept you with
No,
the
I
open
won't.
arms.
I won't accept that you know what's going to happen. That is very presumptuous. But I will accept that you hope what is going to happen. That a little bit more realistic. You don't know. The situation is dicey and fluid. You cannot predict what is going to happen. You don't have that kind of crystal ball, and nobody has. This is a political situation that is very dynamic. So you can't just say that you know.
No,
It hasn't
no, no,
happened
no, no.
before. Okay, you don't know what's gonna happen, so you can't sell that, and
No,
I'm not buying it.
no, so Jude, it's some of the stuff that I told you last night, I explained it to you, is just it's not that I know. It's not that just, you know, I'm predicting what's gonna happen. It's that I know that's what's gonna happen. Because just that's just the way politics works in Iran. And that I know the Persian peoples and Persian communities, not outside Iran, inside Iran, how it works. So some of the things that I'm telling you, I know that's gonna happen for sure.
Sir,
So
dude,
it's not that just I'm predicting.
there is another thing to consider. When you've got, look, I'm not nearly as invested. I would like to go back to Iran, right? It would bring me a lot of joy. I haven't been able to see anybody in 20 years, right? I would love to be able to go back, but at the same time, I'm not as invested, right? If I can't go back, it's not that big a deal to me, right? It's a pretty big deal to Afshin, right? And there is something to be said for projecting the outcome that you want, right? So to your point, you're analyzing it and you're giving your own perspective and you're speaking from a place of objectivity. It makes a lot of sense for somebody who has an idealistic vision, like Afshin, right, to project that ideal anywhere he goes, right? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Just bear with me, right? So if Afshin goes around and says, I know it's going to happen, whether or not he knows anything about it is immaterial. The point is, by saying it, he gives other people hope, right? And if that's what it takes to get people to latch on to a movement that might actually help it succeed, then that's what the real intention behind the language is.
Action. You want to respond to that?
Yeah, some of the things Brian says that's how revolution works. Because you have to just make things. Sometimes you have to say stuff like, you know, make people's, pumped up like to Iranian peoples, like the rooms that we have here for Persian rooms that we have. That's how we sometimes talk to Iranian people inside the street. We make him pumped up to come out. We say stuff that, hey, you need to come out. That's the only way that you can do take our country back. And that's how you do it. That's how you make the revolution work. That's how you make people to come out. That's how you make people to take their country back. So, and Brian, some of the stuff that he said, he's right. I'm not saying he's not right. So you just have to sometimes say stuff, bring hope for people. You cannot just say that, oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, this is not going to happen. No, if you say it like that, never that revolution never going to happen. So.
Yeah, so good stuff there. Guys, let me just say this right here. I'll tell you this right here. I just listening to this, guys. Once again, this thing is open. But Brian, I want to ask you a quick question. How do you feel about the Trump administration now telling its ICE agents to lay off restaurant, hotel, and restaurant, hotel, and farm workers, not to go and raid those places? How do you feel about the Trump administration? Do you think that is somewhat of a hypocritical after he said that all these people were need to go and they're all dangerous and they're all hurting us economy or whatever and they're all dangerous criminals? Do you think that is a bit little now is a little too convenient?
Listen, you keep feeding me tacos at this rate, I'm going to become even more of a fat ass than I already am. Right? Like that's yet again. He comes out with these bombastic claims and also ideas, right? Like just these extreme positions, and then he tries to put it into motion, and you basically, what's the expression? Fuck around and find out. Well, that's essentially what happened, right? Fucked around quite a bit, and now he's finding out, oh no, as it so happens, it alienates a surprising number of my voters. Like, that's it. Anyway, I'm not surprised, right? At this point, I think the consistent theme here is he needs to be liked. He needs to feel liked. And so long as the things that he's doing actually drives his core supporters away from him and potentially his kids, because he'll probably want to have some sort of political dynasty after he passes, um, you know, so long as there's a risk of people of his own base that brought him into power not liking him, he's very likely to back off of the things that he does. It's also one of the reasons why I've become a little bit less concerned in the near term about Trump's actions, because I just don't think he can commit to doing the wrong thing. I think he'll do something really radically extreme and then end up backing off. I do think that longer term he'll still be a risk to the democratic institutions here within the U.S. Meaning, is he going to try and push for a third term and shit like that? But to your point, I do think that I'm not actually surprised that he's asking or telling ICE to back off of raiding, the hospitality industry, for instance. And I think that's a consequence of the impact that it's been having on his voter base.
Does anyone on the right disagrees or agrees with that? I want to know what the people on the right thinks. Have an opinion. We have several platforms on here. Brian and myself.
It's Marcus, Jonathan. Uh,
Go ahead,
Brian,
Marcus.
I think you're going to find as he gets closer to the end of his term, we're going to see he's less worried about how people consider him and less thinking about whether it's legacy or dynasty or any of those things. We already saw at the end of the last term, basically it was whatever he wanted to do at the end. He was just going to break every rule at the end. I think he knows that that's what's going to happen. I see no reason to think he's going to try and leave the office on his own one more time, whether it's a term or whether it's a coup, whatever it is. I see no reason to predict that he's not going to try and do something like that again.
I get that. I just like I don't understand why people aren't holding this. Do what you call it. It's like right now that shooting. I mean that shooting that happened today. All right, it's a conservative. It's a conservative. Okay, they try to say, oh, they had flyers in the car, which is not true. Okay, yeah, he did have a manifesto in the car. All right, and he did have a manifesto in the car. And guess what? This guy is conservative. He's a Christian, all right, conservative. And basically now, I mean, they first came out and started trying to blame the liberals for it. Immediately said the liberals did it. Like the liberals killing their own people. I don't understand that. But no one's calling this guy out. It's like this guy that the bar has been set so low that they're not even surprised at the shit that he does anymore. And that's the part that's troubling to me. People aren't surprised. People aren't like, oh wow, you know, this is going on. I mean, right now to have like when you look at earlier in his room, someone said, you know, when Trump was shot by a Republican. They're like, oh, he wasn't really a Republican. They made that out to be a Republican, and then they turn around and try to say that this act of violence against these Minnesota um, lawmakers, the murder of the one and her husband, and the shooting of the other one and his wife. They're trying to make it out to be liberal. And that is, I think, what Trump has brought us as a nation. He's brought us to a point that is just, I think, is just horrific. And the violence is to be expected now. That's shameful. It really is. So no, 100%. You know, I don't know if you guys heard about the shooting. Anyone here? I mean, yeah. Hopefully, everyone here has heard. You guys heard about that shooting, correct? In Minnesota, where the politicians were
Yeah,
killed.
yeah, but Jonathan, that's not a problem. It's a
Absolutely.
feature, right? It's not a problem. They like that. That's what they want. They admire that. And then the point is, you then come out, you blame it on the other side. You get out in front of the Googles, and then you never clarify it, or if you do, you make it so small that no one can find it. But you get out in front of the Googles, and then what ends up happening when people check, the AI comes at the top and says what the most likely answer is, or it says all the answers up there that are all the different Google pages that say Elon Musk says it's a Democrat, or early predictions. People are predicting it's a Democrat who did these things. And then what you do is you put the real answers off the front page because they got out and they put the misinformation up front. It's all scientific. I mean, it's just part of the plan. So the important thing is that the reason why you don't see the right getting enraged is because they like this. This is what they want to happen. They want Trump to inspire people to do bad things like this. And if that wasn't true, then they'd be out getting enraged and saying, hey, let's stop it. I mean, if they say it's not true, what are they doing to stop it? They're not. This is what they want.
I agree. Divine, you jumped in, Divine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna pretty much say exactly what that last gentleman said. Augustus came in here and was like, "Yeah, he had no King's Days flyers in his car," and we spoke about this earlier that's it's just not true. This gentleman is not on the left, and it's this battle of trying to get the truth to the top of the Google search, and just the environment and the mentality of the leadership in this nation is causing people to want to take matters into their own hands. No way should any lawmakers be killed or shot. Violence has no place in our society in 2025. But again, we have a leader that says stuff like, rough them up, and I'm going to give immunity to all lawmakers, and let's give these guys a clean slate if they have any federal investigations. It's just more and more rhetoric that's empowering, or should I say, I wouldn't say empowering, but just making certain people feel like they could go out there and do whatever the hell they want. And it's very dangerous because you're going to have individuals that are not going to stand for that, and then we're just going to have madness in the streets. We cannot have this. He did come out and condone it, but it's like starting a fire and then
But Divine, him to condoning it. What does that mean? He condoned it
yeah, it means nothing.
because that. I mean, he condoned it in a prepared statement. That wasn't a Donald Trump statement. And in 2 days from now, he's going to come out and he's going to speak about it. And he's going to speak about the crazy policies of the left that made that happen. He's going to say something in 2 days that's going to just make it all go away. But everyone's going to talk about. a month from now, 2 months ago, oh, he put out a statement condoning that. They're not going to say what he said 2 days later. That's what Trump does. All right. 2 days later, a day or two later, he comes out and says something that's totally crazy, and blaming pretty much going to blame the left and the lawmakers for getting shot and killed by his supporters. So that's the part that drives me crazy, Demine.
I agree. I agree. I call him Donald. Put it in reverse Trump, and he is gonna say something crazy, and then try to clean that up and go back and forth and back and forth. I mean, this guy, he's losing it. People don't want to admit it. I don't know why they don't want to admit it. He's saying outrageous things at these speeches that he's given at these graduations. Putin was in World War II. I mean, the list goes on and on. You just search the insane things that he's saying, and the crowd is just like shaking their head. It doesn't make sense. This is not true leadership. I don't know how long the right is going to stand here and watch someone just get up there and play themselves.
Yeah,
They had
that
a
was
lot to say when Biden was
World
doing
War
it, but no
II.
one has anything to say now that Trump's doing it. It's crazy, but I'm going to say
He
something. He
never
sounds
said
and looks
Putin was in
crazy
World
out here.
War II. You're digesting propaganda, leftist media establishment
Oh,
bullshit.
I didn't hear what he said. Okay,
You,
I didn't believe
yeah,
my lying ears, TC.
you're
Go ahead
lying
with your
ears. Yeah,
bullshit.
no,
You can
he
have it.
didn't say. He did not say Putin was in World War II. Stop it. Cut it out. Stop it. All right. You're supposed to be an educator.
Did
So
anybody else hear that? Because I know I heard it.
don't
Anybody?
rely on propaganda
Did
bullshit.
anybody else hear him
What
say
was the question? What was the question? What was the statement he said?
he said that Putin lost a lot of people in World War II? I mean, he said some other idiotic
He
shit
said
today. You gonna
Russia.
cap for that, TC?
He didn't
Somebody
say
please
Putin.
refresh our memories on the
Well,
bullshit that
yeah, he
Donald Trump
said that
said.
that Washington and secured the airports. Did he say that, TC? TC, did he say that?
He said Russia was in World War II, is what he said. He did not say
Or did he say
Putin.
Washington secured the airports? Yes or no?
No, I didn't hear him say anything about Washington securing the airports.
Yeah, George Washington, and secured the airports. He said that. 100%. He said that. Okay, there was not even airplanes exist. They didn't know what the fucking airplane was back then. But yet Washington secured the airports. Come on, let's be real here. He says a lot of dumb shit. But yet you're trying to defend it. TC, what do you think about the immigration? The flip on the immigration, TC, about not going after for, I guess farm workers, restaurant and hotel employees.
Flip on immigration. He said from day one that he was going to prioritize criminal illegal aliens. Okay? The hardworking people that work on the farms and work in hospitality and leisure are not criminal illegal aliens. So him making it clear to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS and ICE and other departments under Christy Nome to prioritize criminal illegal aliens and deprioritize people working in farm and hospitality is no departure from what he's already said.
No, but it's a departure from what the hell he was doing. It's a big departure from what he was doing.
Well, maybe he's correcting the record and establishing protocols, which is what he's supposed to do. He said he understands that there are people that are here that are undocumented, and there are good people, hardworking people. He said they are not being prioritized. It is the criminal illegal aliens that are being prioritized. So
So,
if
so the college students that wrote op-eds and all that other stuff, they were criminal and they needed to be prioritized.
no, but college students that foment riots and promote violence and you know massive disruptions on college
Were
campuses.
they charged? Were they charged with rioting? Or were they charged with any of these things that you said they were doing? Because in order to be criminal, you got to be charged, right?
They don't have to be criminal. They don't
You're
have to be
alleging that they
criminal.
did these things.
They don't have to be criminal. They can simply work in countervention to the foreign policy interests of the United States, and they can be deported.
That's freedom of speech.
No, that's against that's the discretion of the Secretary of
Yeah,
State to make a determination
No, that's
whether or
freedom of
not a
speech,
foreign
bro.
national or alien can stay here if they present an a a combative or confrontational effort against the foreign policy interests of the United States. The Secretary of State can make such a determination and have them removed.
No, no, you guys are applying the wrong standard. Legally, that's not the right standard. The standard is he can kick them out any time. It doesn't have to be for a reason. So the reason they kicked him out is just because he decided to. You don't need to prove anything, but they also don't need to do anything. There's an agreement they signed in order to come in the country that they're here as long as he wants them to be allowed to be here. And when they break that agreement, they're done. Or no, they break the agreement. When he decides they no longer want them to be here, they have to go. Look, if you invite someone into your house, they don't have to be an asshole before you ask them to leave. You can ask them to leave because you're just not in the mood for them to be there anymore. And it's the exact same thing. That's the power we give to the Secretary of State. It's not the way it used to be, but that's the way the law is now. If we don't like that law, we change the law. But that's the law. It has nothing to do with a crime, and it has nothing to do with them doing something wrong. It's just they decided he's not, and that's the power we gave him to have.
It has to do with the backtracking because they're running up on construction sites. They're grabbing hardworking
So
migrants
that's a
and
different issue.
realizing
We can
that
talk
these
about
are
two
the
different issues, but
individuals
that's
that
a
are
different issue.
needed in these industry, the industry of hospitality, the industry of farm work, and the industry of what are the three, Jonathan? It's hospitality, farms, and one other. And he's realizing his boys is calling
Construction.
him, yo, construction wasn't on that list, but we already know. We see the images of people running for their lives. ICE is coming, ICE is coming. And his boys is calling him like, yo, you fucking up. Leave those people alone. We need them. Like, why does he have to regurgitate or go back and take a step back and say, no, hey, now hold a minute. Wait a minute, guys. You're going after the wrong people. When he made a clear statement of who they were going to go after from the jump, it's the same bullshit. Do some crazy shit and pull it back. This is not leadership. This is confusion. This is not how things should be done at all.
Yeah, I agree, guys. Once again, TC, you're making it seem like this is his policy all along. If it's his policy all along, how come he didn't stop? How come he didn't stop this when ICE has been doing this for the last 3 months or so? He didn't stop it until the people, his rich buddy friends, his billionaire friends that owns these hotels and everything else, and start these farmers start saying, "Hey, we can't make it. Our people are afraid to come to work." This guy has disrupted this country. He has made food more expensive. He's made everything more fucking expensive. And you guys are sitting here saying this is what it's supposed to be. The fuck out of here. This guy made everything more expensive. You guys, this is where it's supposed to be. You guys are like, it's crazy. And I'm gonna tell you the crazy part about it. The history books. The history books are gonna say you guys are fucking crazy as well. All right. And I'm gonna tell you something. You guys gonna be a bunch of fucking liars saying that, oh, you wasn't for it. And you guys called it out, and and you guys knew it was going to do. That's what you're going to tell your kids and your grandkids. Okay, I hope they're smart enough to do some fucking research and go look at your Instagram or your Twitter or your Facebook or whatever the hell you looking at these days. You know what I'm saying? Or come here and listen to some of the shit y'all said. All right, because this shit right here. And we called out that those people that he was deporting him have to be brought back. He fucking brought them back. You guys said no, 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 no. He brought them back. Okay, everything we said this fucking guy had. Oh, you can't do this. You just can't send people. Guess what? He stopped doing it. Okay, everything we said. Oh, food and prices, everything's gonna go up. Okay, and people, who's gonna do these jobs? Everything you guys disagree with, everything you guys came in and disagreed with, has been reversed. Okay, and he had to stop doing it. What you guys are you guys won the election. That's what you got. Okay, you won the election, but that you guys aren't right. So don't sit here and make it seem as if you guys are right and if you guys did something, that whatever. You guys aren't right. If you were right, All right, we said this all along, so it's not a freaking surprise. You know, and we said, yo, about restaurants. We said it's hell. They're gonna start talking about construction pretty soon. Okay, when how? Guess what? When the construction of homes start slowing down and people aren't sheetrocking and framing these fucking houses and buildings. All right, we've been saying this all along. This guy's hurting the economy, and you guys are like, yeah, 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 like y'all winning something. You ain't win a goddamn thing. It's costing you something, but that's fine. I land.
You may not know it, but you were in the Matrix for quite a while there, Jonathan, and some people might have missed a lot of that, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I feel like Jonathan's more wrong than he is right these days. He has a warped view of society, has a warped view of what's happening in society in real life. Um, they're sticking to the plan. Jonathan was of the ilk that said we were going to be in a recession due to Trump's tariff policies. Well, we're not. Jonathan was of the ilk that agreed that Donald Trump was exacerbating the issues between Russia and Ukraine, and we're not. They're slowing down their um, their engagement, and they're coming to the negotiating table. Now we have a conflict with Iran and Israel that's kind of blowing out of control, but that's because Bibi Netanyahu is a freaking warmonger and he's trigger happy. But I mean, a lot of the stuff that, a lot of people want to see happen with this administration, they want to see it fail. They want to see Donald Trump failed. It's not happening. Inflation is coming down. The cost of living is coming down. Okay, employment, the unemployment rate is going down. So these are all good indicators for the economy. Uh, we have a deal with China that's yet to be announced, but it's been it's been announced that they have reached a deal. These are all good things for the country, but as long as we keep harping on what what
What the?
what the media wants us to harp on, and suggesting that the country is going down into shambles, you guys will be satisfied because you'll be hearing what you want to hear. That's not actually the case, right? I mean, I just think you could just take a reality check. Look around. This country is doing much better today than it was a year and a half ago, and that's due to the work and effort of Donald Trump.
Okay, I have a question for you. Actually, a couple. But the first one is TC, snarky puppy. How do you feel about the World War II and the way we rounded up Japanese people? You're good with that, yeah?
I mean, like I said, that's a little bit beyond my expertise. I'm familiar with the internment camps. I'm not necessarily familiar with the predicate, so I don't really have an opinion on that.
Okay, so then let's fast forward, right? I mean, people felt about that like they did then, and they feel about it now like they do now. Same thing with the Vietnam War. Sometimes time can change things, and the opinions of how morally, you know, how much moral ground was behind certain moves that America's done or other countries, right? So let's just say this escalates with Iran. And then Iran says, okay, we've got these people on our side. Um, do we ban? Do we collect all the people from those countries that are inside America? And that's what is it Trump said about the homegrown plan? Do you remember something, that comment?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
All right. Maybe if nobody else does, then the generalized question is if this escalates, what do you think? Anybody that's on Iran's side, do you think I should go collect them too?
No, I don't think that's what Donald Trump is saying at all. There are national security threats, and if there's homegrown terrorism or people that are engaging in um, if there are people that are engaging in homegrown terrorism, or they're basically taking cues from Iran to create destabilization in America, it's within the president's prerogative to detain those individuals, interrogate them, and to root out any type of national security threats that could be being harbored in the United States of America. Nothing illegal or immoral about that. What I think you're doing is you're comparing that to what happened in World War II with the Japanese in internment camps, which I think was indiscriminate collection of Japanese people and relegating them to, damn near prison conditions for no crimes committed or anything like that, which has
Right, but isn't that the same when you're a legal citizen, but you happen to have brown skin and ICE is coming to talk to you and questioning you and saying you have to give me your papers and all this stuff? I
well,
mean,
ICE,
like,
ICE cannot pull aside every brown person and say, "Let me see your papers." That's unconstitutional. Um,
right, but I mean, he seems like you're pro racial profiling for the brown people these days, right?
no, there's no pro racial profile. Where are you getting this stuff from? There's no pro racial profiling. If they have a suspicion,
Well, I mean, ICE isn't allowed technically to do maybe some of the things cops do, and cops aren't allowed to do racial profiling. But it seems like with ICE, um, you know, what are they going on? If they're going to Home Depot. I mean, is it really about a specific person, or is it just here's where the brown people are?
yeah, I mean, if they have a reasonable suspicion that these people are engaging in criminal activity, they have the right to detain them and to investigate. And in the course of their investigation, they rise to the level of probable cause. They have the right to arrest them. But these people cannot be profiled based on their race. They can't be, arrested because somebody has a hunch. There's certain things that has to be met in order for them to be detained and arrested. So I think what you're describing is criminal activity on the behalf of the government, which I don't agree with, and I don't think is happening. But on the other hand, I think you're suggesting that Donald Trump is not beyond it; he's not above it, and I disagree
Well,
with
he
you.
did the Muslim ban pretty fast.
Well, and again, the Muslim ban is different because the president does have the ability to indiscriminately prohibit the prohibit people from coming into the country. He can use any reason or no reason at all. Okay, he gets to stop any type of immigration into the country that he wishes besides asylum. So the Muslim
As he's
ban,
done with 12 countries, right, recently.
yeah, well, it was supported by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed that he had the authority to do it, and he did it. So again, same thing. I think you're trying to impugn his motives, which I understand how you come to those conclusions. But from the way I see it, he's operating well within his constitutional authorities and constraints. Now, if he blurred the lines, so for example, I've come out against his claim for being able to uh, uh, reverse birthright citizenship. That's unconstitutional. I don't agree with that. He said that's something he wants to do, and I don't think he can. And I think the courts have maintained that he cannot. And so he's complied with the courts. He hasn't tried to detain people on the basis of reversing their birthright citizenship. So for those things, I think that's when the system holds. The protocols and the systems that are in place to protect constitutional rights of Americans are being upheld by the systems that exist, and Donald Trump is complying with the protocols and the policies. So again, you guys are trying to cry wolf here, and I don't see a wolf, but you keep crying wolf, and there's no wolf around. It's creating a you guys are discrediting yourselves every time you do this. There's no internment camps.
Uh,
There's no mass deportation based on the color of somebody's skin. There's no racial profiling. There's no reversal of birthright citizenship. Donald Trump is complying with the Supreme Court laws. Yeah, I think if there was something to see here, I would call it out. But as I see it, there's nothing to see here.
Yeah, TC, you might not see a wolf, but I see a fox, and they pose the same danger. When Alison mentioned I think it was brilliant that she mentioned the World War II, which you're not too familiar about. Um, but it's even worse that in World War II, we're in a state of war, and habeas corpus was suspended to a certain extent. And if it was that objectionable during the time of war,
Habeas corpus was not suspended during World War II.
well, it was temporary. That was the subterfuge that they used in order to arrest them. They denied them habeas corpus and detained them. Um, so now we're in the time of peace, and this is happening. Look at where I have a little problem. That immigration is a civil matter in all respect, and that level of intrusion that you just initiated with reasonable suspicions and objective, credible reasons, and ultimately probable cause for arrest, only apply in a criminal matter based on Supreme Court's position. So I think you're kind of a little bit off track when you try to apply that on a civil matter like an immigration, particularly where most of the people that are being detained and arrested are here on permissible court order, awaiting adjudication on some certain matters. They were just being arrested because they are purely not citizens. People with green card have been arrested. So to apply criminality and criminal intrusion, level of intrusion and detention and arrest on that is kind of very much misplaced. I just want to point that out, and I'm done.
So if you come to the conclusion, okay, that the people that are being detained and being investigated and being removed are not criminal illegal aliens, that's your prerogative. I think there's enough data to support that there are uh, people that are engaging in the criminal element that are being removed. Now, yes, is there information in the public domain that the people that are not criminals are just simply people that are waiting for their asylum cases to be held, to be heard in courts, are being detained? Yes, I'm aware of that. But that's not the same thing she said. She said that these people, or she suggested that potentially these people are being racially profiled. I don't think you guys have provided any evidence to substantiate that claim. What it is conjecture, and it's conjecture and suspicion. Um, and I think it doesn't belong in an intellectual conversation like the one we're having. Number two, you suggested that these actions are not criminal. That's not the case. Okay, if people didn't show up for their court hearing, and they have a final order of removal, and they don't show up for those removal proceedings, they are criminals, and they are in the country illegally, and it is a felony. So that's not a civil infraction; that's a criminal infraction. Just so we're on
Being
the
in the
same
country
page.
illegally is not a
Okay,
felony.
so maybe he didn't hear me. I'll say it again. If they have a final order of removal, they didn't show up for their removal proceedings, and they're in the interior of the country, that is a felony. That is a criminal activity. Okay, and so the law enforcement is well within their rights to detain under a suspicion, reasonable suspicion, and then once they achieve probable cause, they can go ahead and arrest the individual.
Yeah, I
That's the
want you to show me
protocol.
that it's a felony. I want you to show me that it's a felony to be in the country illegally. Okay,
If they have
go
a
ahead and do that.
final
Let's
order
do
of
it.
removal and they don't show up for removal proceedings, they are fugitives, which is a felony in the United States.
No,
They are
no, no, no. You
fugitives.
can be a fugitive on a misdemeanor. So don't say that.
If you
Okay.
are okay, listen to me again. Okay, I don't know how many times I got to say this. If you have a warrant out for your arrest or your removal and you do not turn yourself in, that is a felony. Okay.
Okay, show it to us.
Yeah, I'm driving right now, but when I get home,
No, well, no, but show it to us.
happy to. Did you, can you hear me? I said I'm driving
We
right
heard, we
now.
did hear your Google, your whatever that is, giving you instructions.
Yeah,
That was my
once
that was my
again,
GPS.
once again, okay, guys, listen to me. What this guy just said is, if I get a warrant for my arrest, okay, for shoplifting or anything else, and I don't turn myself in, I now am a felon. So me not turning myself in is worse than the crime I committed to begin with. All right, that doesn't make sense. So I'm asking him to show me that because I know it's not true. All right, that logic is not true. So, people hate to be fucking challenged when they're wrong. So go ahead and show me that. I've done enough rooms that I don't even have to look it up to know that you're lying or
Dude,
mistaken.
dude doesn't even know what I'm talking about, bro. And I
Snarky,
literally said like four
you need
times
a fact loving friend to back you up
on
since you're driving.
yeah. I mean, I've said it like four times. If a person has been given a final order of removal and they are in the interior, do not show up for removal proceedings. That is a felony. Okay, you if you have a final order of removal and you don't show up for removal proceedings, that is a felony. I will get the chapter and verse.
Damn, man, that's a crazy
Hello.
conversation tonight.
Hi, may I
Yeah,
speak?
go ahead, Ayanda.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I joined part of the discussion. I heard you were talking about Iran and other things. So, and then you were talking about how they removed the Japanese in the past. Well, clearly, what happened in the past was not correct. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to repeat
Yeah, yeah.
and
Can
do the
you one
same
second?
mistake.
1 second, please. Failing to appear for removal hearing in immigration
Okay,
court
I'm
does not
leaving the
result
room,
in a felony.
Jonathan. I'm leaving the
I
room
said,
because that was really rude that you interrupted me. Thank you and
yeah.
goodbye.
I get the fuck up out of here then, okay? Because I said 1 second. Go. That's crazy. Who was that guy? So I can block her. Who
That
was
was
that?
that was Ayanda, one of the Persian.
I told, but I told her one
I
second, one
know,
second.
I know,
Okay,
JB. You're right. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
so she can get she can stay the hell up out of here. I don't really. It's crazy as hell. If what she had to say was that damn important, all she had to do was wait. I said 1 second. I was polite enough to tell her 1 second to hold on. Then she like, oh, it was rude. No, it's rude for you to come in this goddamn room thinking that you could take precedent when someone tells you to hold on.
I think she was on limited time. She
I
said
don't
she had
care
to
what
leave.
you've done.
So I'm not saying it's okay.
Okay,
It's all
no,
good.
okay, no. She
Baby.
didn't. She didn't put fucking 5 years into this fucking room. All right. She. If I said hold for one moment, why she? No, I don't care about her being offended.
No, Jonathan, you're right, bro. You're right. Go ahead, man. It's just your room. You have
Yeah.
to. You tell them 1 second.
Yeah,
One
she didn't
second.
have that context probably too.
I don't care. Then please stop making excuses. What's called please stop making excuses. I'm serious, Ali. This is crazy as hell. I don't give a fuck what context you have. If I'm moderating the room, she knew my name. Fuck out of here. All right. So anyway, it says failing to appear for a removal hearing in immigration court does not result in a felony charge. Instead, it can lead to an absentia order of removal, meaning that the individual can be deported without ever appearing before a judge. While removal proceedings are civil in nature, not criminal. Failing to comply with them can have serious consequences, including the potential of future inadmissible ability and bars to reentry. All right, I just wanted to put that out there because I know how TC is when we get away from stuff. So there you go.
TC.
He's on the phone. He's on the phone, guys.
Of course, yeah, well, whatever. But anyway, guys, yeah. Um, what is it? Go ahead.
No, nothing. I was gonna say he's on the phone, man.
Well, that gal seemed a little bit more willing than you were, TC, to say what happened with Japanese folks in America in World War II. Our last and one and only concentration camp moment, right? Besides genocide with Native Americans and slavery. I mean, it's she seemed pretty um, easily able to feel like, with her discerning awareness, that was wrong. But TC did not quite. He seemed to waffle around a little bit on a fence. I felt like when I asked that.
Alex, she's not here, so I don't really give a fuck. Respectfully, all right. And that's all. That's why we moderate these rooms a certain way, and that's why certain people moderate and certain people don't. The shit's not even fucking relevant for her to even address. So I don't
Well,
know
I'm
why we're bringing
sorry.
it
That
up.
was the only thing that came to my fucking
Okay,
head, and I was
okay,
trying to
okay.
fill
Well, you don't have
space.
to apologize. Well, I tell you what, when I'm speaking, don't try to curate me or the fucking space. And I'm saying that respectfully, okay? And I'm being rude at this point.
All right, I will be more comfortable with awkward silence and not trying to
I
fill
know.
it since
No,
I
no, no. Yeah,
fail at
yeah.
doing that well. I'll
Yeah,
get it.
no. Okay. All right. And I'm saying that, like I said, because once again, yeah, I don't want to hear about someone that just tried to challenge me in the freaking room for no reason at all. When I said, hey, one second, one moment, okay? All right. So that's where I'm at with it, man. So, yeah. Hopefully she doesn't return. So that's where I'm at with it, man. With that being said, action. Just send me her profile. I appreciate it.
You want me to
Let's
send you
see.
my profile? Is it?
Oh wow. You know what? My people even text me this. I'm so sorry. I didn't even read that. I just read the text message. The okay. Oh wow! And I looked it up. Someone texted to me while I was going back and forth with TC, and I should have looked at that text message. All right, but yeah, no, actually no, 100%, guys. So TC, he knew he messed up, and he the phone call he probably made to get out of here because he knew he messed up. It's crazy as hell. The logic is that's like, oh, I shoplift. Okay, since I was facing, I don't know, maybe up to 90 days in jail, but since I didn't show up, I'm now facing 3 years in prison. That doesn't make sense. All right, that doesn't make sense as a felony, or 5 years in prison as a felony. That doesn't make sense at all. So you guys, it was illogical what that man said. So you guys got to just because someone sit there and sound like they know what they're talking about, you got to know when to call and question people. And someone else actually sent me that information real quick as well, and I just saw that. So 100%, guys. All right, guys. So we
I'm
basically
done driving, and I actually have the text. You can pull it up, and you can look at it for yourself. It's 8 USC 1253A. 8 USC 1253A. It is a. I'll read the
I,
synopsis. Hold on, because you asked me for the chapter and verse, so I have it. So it's 8 USC 1253A. It penalizes a non citizen with a final order of removal who willfully fails or refuses to depart within the legally required time, 90 days, fails to apply for travel documents in good faith, conspires to prevent their own removal, or fails to appear for removal as directed. Classification of the offense: willful failure to depart or comply, felony, up to 4 years in prison. If convicted of an aggravated felony, up to 10 years in prison. Key point: even a
so
first time violation under 1253A is considered a felony because the potential prison term exceeds 1 year,
no, no, no,
which is
no,
the
no, no.
federal
You're
definition
reading
of a
part of it. I
felony.
have the whole thing in front of me. I have the whole thing in front of me. Not
You
so. Let's read
asked
the
me
whole
for the
thing. Let's
chapter
read the
and
whole thing,
verse.
TC. Not showing up for a final order of removal, also known as a departure order, is not automatically a felony, but it can lead to serious legal consequences, including charges under certain conditions. Under certain conditions, okay? Here's what can happen. Failure to depart. If someone fails to depart and leave the United States after a final order of removal, it is considered a civil and immigration violation. Okay?
Did
A
you read
civil immigration
1253A? Are
violation.
you reading
You skipped right over
1253A?
that. However, under 8 U.S. Code 1253A, if someone willfully fails, and that's what it says, okay, because there's conditions attached to that.
Oh, now
It's
it's conditions
conditions.
attached. Like I said, Jonathan, I know what I said. What I said was if somebody was given a final order of deportation and they failed to show up for departure proceedings, they can be charged with a felony, which is what
No,
I
he said
said.
it's a
And
felony.
I
He
was
said it's
correct.
a felony.
I said they can be charged with a felony,
No,
whether
you
it's a
didn't. You said it's
okay,
a
fine,
felony,
fine,
and it's
fine,
on
fine,
tape.
fine. I said it's a felony. And yes, it is a felony because they can be charged with a
It isn't a
felony.
felony, TC.
If they can be
TC.
charged with a felony, Jonathan, it's a felony.
No, it's not a felony, TC. There's certain conditions have to be met. So, like,
What's the
if they had a crime,
conditions? What's the
okay, okay,
conditions?
TC.
What's the conditions?
It's not
Because
a felony, it's a violation,
It's
TC.
a
It's
what's
not
civil
a
the
offense.
felony.
It says it's a civil offense. It says that right there, clearly.
It's
Jonathan? It
it's a
says it's
violation.
punishable up to 4 years in prison, which is a felony.
No, bro. It's a civil offense, is what it says. But it could be a felony if they met certain conditions. Like
What's the
if they had a
conditions?
crime. Okay, TC. You know what?
Jonathan,
TC.
I'm reading the
No,
text
I'm not
right
gonna bet
here.
you
It
because you don't play
literally
your
says,
bets.
I'm literally reading the text right here. It says, it
I'm not
penalizes
gonna
a
bet you
non
because you don't pay your
citizen
bets.
with final order of removal who
Okay.
willfully fails or refuses to depart within the legally required time, usually 90 days, punishable by up to 4 years in prison, which is a felony. Anything more than a year is a felony. I rest
Okay,
my
bro.
case.
No, TC,
Yeah, you're wrong.
TC,
You're wrong,
no.
bro. You're wrong.
TC, what you read, I believe I came across this thing. Read the exceptions. It will tell you what it is. It's a
Yeah,
violation.
it's a civil offense, guys. Here, I just put
Yeah.
it in the chat for everyone to read. It should be loading. Hopefully, it's loading in the chat because I just put pasted a lot. Yo, TC, I'm serious, man. You my dude, man, but you don't like to be wrong, and I'm not even trying to make you wrong. We all make mistakes.
Dies on many hills.
I guess that was too. It's too big. It won't allow me to put all that in there. Yeah,
Yeah, I proved my point. Y'all have a good night. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I got church in the morning. So,
yeah. You proved
God
your point.
bless.
God bless TC.
You better go to confession while you are at it, Casey.
This guy. Wow, that guy. All right, guys. So anyway, yeah, there it is, man. The guy obviously is incorrect and wrong, but that's fine. He's loud, wrong, and you know it is what it is. My gosh, man. So anyway, guys, I'm done. Um, I'm gonna open the floor up, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the podcast. Well, once again, we had a great night tonight in terms of just going back and forth. I learned a lot listening to the Persians speak. Um, yeah, I really can't believe a woman was like, "Yo, you were rude." Yeah, this is my room. This is my the hell. I'm rude because I told you wait 1 minute. That right there, it just the sense of entitlement. Like, yo, I don't know what she thought, but anyway, with that being said, and I was polite enough to say, hold on 1 moment, please. Um, but with that being said, folks, we definitely appreciate you guys coming to debate the news. Um, and listen to me, if you're over on CH, you guys do not need a an invite to come over. All right, Chatter is now improved. In fact, you know what? Yeah, Chatter has now been improved, and monetization's here. Uh, 2B opened up a room today. 2B, I don't know if you guys know too. He opened up a room today, and I don't know about by his first hour in the room, he made 200 something dollars. And like I said, like he hour and a half, 2 hours, he made $300 just talking. What was he saying, folks? What did he keep saying? Um, I told him. I said, two, your only content has been, and that's my guy. I said, your only content has been like, oh, I'm mighty sure, I'm mighty thankful. Wow, you guys are making me feel really great. Because they kept sending me money, and I was like, that's been your only content. But he made made about $300 in a matter of hours. I mean, an hour and a half. He made $300 during a room, just a room. We weren't really talking about anything. We were in there talking, having fun. It wasn't really giving any value. Just having fun, laughing, talking. And so, he made $300. And that's not much, folks. And once again, we have not completed the integration. The integration with Blue Sky. That's right, guys. Chatter is integrating with Blue Sky. 36 million users. 36 million users. Chatter is integrating with Blue Sky. So now, not only does it has the video, not only does it have all these other great features that just phenomenal. It has monetization. Now it's going to be integrated with Blue Sky. Okay, and it's going to have you're going to have 36 million users going to have access to this platform in the coming days. So these rooms are going to be lit. They're going to be big. They're going to be huge. And if two was able to make $300 an hour and a half on a platform that's doing a soft launch, that's it's still in the soft launch phase, where the V2 they did the soft launch thing where they turn everything on because everything hasn't been turned on. It's going to be turned on. The integration, all that's going to be turned on in a couple of days. He's able to do it. Come on, folks. If you're a creator, if you're doing rooms, why would you be doing rooms anywhere else? Okay, multi-streaming to other platforms. We can multi-stream to all your other social platforms while you're on this platform. All that's built into the app. So it's just a lot of stuff there. So if you're a content creator, what are you doing? You shouldn't be creating content anywhere else. All right. So we had a gentleman that came on and he was like, "Hey, I had this many people." This. I said, "How much money did you make?" He goes, "Nothing." And then he goes, he said he did a TikTok room, a TikTok live, and he said he made 53 cents off his TikTok live. Okay. And he made 53 cents. He's like, "Yeah, I made 53 cents." Once again, guys, this guy came in on a platform that's not fully launched, that just did the V2 launch in a soft manner, turned on the rocket chats and everything else. And he was in a matter of, not too long, boom, able to, pocket close to $300. So if you guys are waiting to download Chatter, um, guys, go ahead, get in there because pretty soon the whole world's going to be over here. And you're going to be trying to fight to figure this thing out. And you're going to be fighting against all those people from Blue Sky and Twitch and everywhere else. When you guys realize, like, holy shit, I should be here. You're going to be fighting with the whole world. Get over here, get yourself established early. Get over here, get yourself established early. They have a feature called Moments, guys. They have a feature called Moments. So when you're in these rooms, and you're on video, we're all talking, whatever. You get to clip it. Once you clip it, and then once you clip it, you get I guess shave it, do whatever you have to do, and then it goes in. So and so you can just stroll down moments like TikTok. It's just moments of the best rooms that people have clipped, and you're able to share that out to like all the other social media things, whether it's TikTok or wherever the hell you're gonna share. You get to share it out to all that other stuff, moments, and that's like the best moments of the room. Whether you're in it or someone else is in it, you're able to clip that moment, and your people are able to view that moment. So there's a really great app, really great features that's here, guys. But more importantly, if you're a creator and you're doing rooms over there, you put up your TikTok. I mean, your Cash App. You have to put up a Cash App now. Your money come. Your money's like boom. You see your money right away, and you don't have to ask for it. They gamify. They gamifying people giving you money. they're gamifying people giving you money, and people enjoy giving you money because it lets the whole world knows, and it puts out these rockets and all these other animations. Great stuff, folks. So Chatter Social, once again, Chatter will be fully integrated with Blue Sky. You post on Blue Sky, it shows up on Chatter. You post on Chatter, it shows up on Blue Sky. And when you open up a room, the notifications get sent out on Blue Sky. Folks, 36.5 million users is what they have. So I don't know what you guys are waiting for. You guys sitting over there thinking, thinking that this is uh, a, this is something that's going to go away. This thing's just getting started, just getting started. So appreciate you guys over on CH. We're gonna keep it going over here on Chatter. Like I said, you guys are welcome to join us. Um, yeah, you guys are definitely welcome to join us over here tonight. But we're gonna go ahead and keep the conversation going over here on Chatter. So with that being said, folks, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for joining us tonight. So with that being said, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Once again, folks, you guys are able to join us over on Chatter. I mean, and basically, um, yeah, and Mr. Still, you guys, nah, it's launched. It's launched. Okay, but the marketing piece, the piece where it goes out to everyone, with everyone. You don't do that on a freaking weekend. You do that on a weekday. You do it on a weekday, my friend, if you know anything about it. All right. And so look up the best day to launch your app, and then you'll understand what's going on. So, with that being said, just wanted to make sure everyone here got the feel of it, build it up, make sure when the people show up from, got, like I said, 36.5 million users are going to have access to this app. Making sure these people show up. And when they show up to an app that is glitch free, bug free, and everything else. So, um, we're good. We're happy about that. So with that being said, folks, we're gonna go ahead and hey, oh, you can still stay over there and hate over there. But when your friends over here talking about how much money they made and how much more people they're getting in their rooms, okay, Mr. Still Your Girl, we're good. Let's go.